What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Dominic Rich, and I have a special guest with me today. As you guys could see, he's a Chelsea fan, and he goes by the name Ankit. Ankit, how are you, man? How are you? How are you feeling?
I'm great, buzzing, and really looking forward to this chat. I think it's been a while that I've been following Dominic, and I definitely respect the channel. Great content that you have, and I would like to definitely recommend anyone watching. By chance, if you have not subscribed to Dominic Rich FC, please do so because absolutely great, knowledgeable person and great content that you find. Pleasure to be here, mate.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Ankit also has a channel of his own. He runs a Chelsea channel. Ankit, tell the people where they can find you on social media and on YouTube before we even get into this content.
Sure thing. Thanks for that. But yes, you can find me on YouTube as RCBN Chelsea Fan TV. As you can go by the name, and as Dominic said, you can find a lot of Chelsea content there, and you can see the name here, RCBN Chelsea Fan TV. The name actually originates from RCB, which is Royal Challengers Bangalore. I am a cricket fan, so you can find seasonal cricket content, but primarily Chelsea and football content. I did cover a lot of transfer news as well as Euros. So anyone who loves football and just likes, YouTube videos, please come onto my channel. And I am very active on Twitter as well as on Instagram, again, as RCB and Chelsea Fan TV, or you can just search for Ankit Rana. That's my name.
Well said, well said, well said. Listen, Ankit, he's in India right now, and you guys know the boy Dominic Rich is worldwide. And the reason why I brought Ankit on the channel is because he's a big Chelsea fan. And we want to talk about Chelsea versus, well, I should say Liverpool versus Chelsea, because the game will be at Anfield. And this is one of the most highly anticipated fixtures, not only this weekend, for the entire season. And I think the reason is Chelsea are title contenders for a lot of people, not so much Liverpool. So the Liverpool fans, Liverpool FC themselves, have a lot to they got a lot to prove. And Chelsea, champions of Europe, it's a huge game. It's a huge game. I think I can't even remember if it was this highly anticipated last year. Ankit, could you remember it being this highly anticipated last season?
It's been a few seasons, in fact, because we have been in the rebuilding process in terms of the Premier League for a good couple of years. First we had the transfer ban under Lampard, where we had, if you remember, obviously Kepa in goal. But after that, even right, as in last season, there was a transition with Thomas Tuchel coming in, and of course we kind of went there and beat them towards the end. But it wasn't as big because we weren't fighting for the title, and this time. I actually went on my channel, predicted Liverpool to finish fifth, and I got a lot of backlash for that. And I can see why after the first two games, their first 11 on paper and on the pitch looked great. And in the first two games, I know it's too soon to say, but Chelsea and Liverpool both, definitely look title favorites already. And of course, your club, Manchester City, right? I hope I forget that. But yes, it's definitely big.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to keep myself out of it today. It's all about Chelsea and Liverpool. I don't want to. I'm just the ref. I'll be the referee, the mediator today. I don't want to get in between what you guys have going on right now. But Ankit, look, big game. I want to just run through some questions I have for you. Quick fire questions. Just make it short, make it sweet. And what are your thoughts on Thomas Tuchel?
Thomas Tuchel is the best man manager that we've had for a while. I think probably, I don't remember in terms of management alone, if we've had a better person in charge, right? As in someone, I know Di Matteo in the past, took us to the Champions League, but Thomas Tuchel, the way he took such a big squad, got them together and got us winning the Champions League. And not only that, the transfer window is very clear to see. As in him getting Lukaku, he's very clear in what he wants. In between games, he's a great tactician. So yeah, that's what I would say.
It seems as if Thomas Tuchel and Chelsea are a match made in heaven, because look at what was going on when Frank Lampard was at the club. You guys were becoming somewhat of a banter club. You were more mid-table than higher up the table. And Chelsea, we know, take this ruthless approach when it comes to getting rid of their managers if they're not performing. And you guys brought in Thomas Tuchel, and he delivered immediately. I think he exceeded expectations, where you brought him in just to rescue the season, get top 4, get the team back in the Champions League. But you got more. You got a bonus. You got the creme de la creme itself, the Champions League. So as a Chelsea fan, I know you must be happy right now. You must be full of confidence coming into this new season.
Yes, absolutely. This is probably the season where I'm buzzing the most in the last decade, I can say. That's how excited Thomas Tuchel has got us. Yes, you're right. He was a stopgap solution maybe for just getting the ship sailing and then see what's in store, right? But knowing Roman Abramovich, at the end of the day, he wants trophies, right? And Thomas Tuchel, right from the first press conference, he actually said that I'm here to win and we will fight no matter what. That's the attitude that has inculcated even the team, and that's something that I'm really excited to see in this season.
So with this success right away, immediate success, do you think you could see Thomas Tuchel being a long-term manager of Chelsea? Because we know Chelsea, they bring in their managers and they're gone. They do well, they win trophies, they win something, but then they start falling by the wayside a little, and then they're gone. Do you see Thomas Tuchel staying at Chelsea for at least, let's say, 5 seasons?
Well, that's a big call, but Dominic, I have to say, it's a little bit more than something that we won. Having said that, yes, I get your point, right? In terms of Thomas Tuchel, he's one of the best managers out there, right? For me, I respect Antonio Conte a lot. Some coaches have it in them to get average to good squads become great. He's one of them coaches, right? Klopp is definitely another. That's why this match is so anticipated, right? At the end of the day, if we get rid of all the good coaches out there who really are those masterminds, who will be left, right? There has to be a point where Abramovich needs to understand that, and hopefully Thomas Tuchel will win us a Premier League, which will definitely seal that. A Champions League followed by a Premier League will be something that I'm sure, Abramovich cannot say no to next season. And I think, 5 seasons a bit too much. I would probably take 2 at a time, and I would say a couple of seasons for sure I can see him.
But if you look at what Pep Guardiola and Jurgen Klopp has done, these two men has been at City and Liverpool for some time. This is 2015, 2016. We're now in 2021, going into 2022. So I would actually it would be very good for the league if Thomas Tuchel stays on, because we don't know how long Pep is going to stay. We don't know how long Jurgen Klopp is going to stay on. So we need these very, very high quality managers in the league. Look, we'll get to Liverpool, but let me know your quick thoughts on Chelsea's squad this season. And I know it could get better, but let me know your thoughts on the squad you have available for this game.
Yeah, in terms of squad for the season, I am fully satisfied. I am happy if the transfer window ends today. That's how satisfied I am. Because last season, the only thing really missing was the goals, right? The goals is something that Werner, first season, I would give him the benefit of doubt, but at the end of the day, he was not scoring, right? That's the bottom line. And Lukaku, no matter how much people criticize him, he's scored goals wherever he goes, right? So for this particular match, though, one person that I believe may be missing is Christian Pulisic. I think he's obviously been tested positive, and that's the reason he'll have to quarantine. But and he's one who's had, I think, a couple of great games against Liverpool during the lockdown. I remember, he was terrific. Even Klopp was taken aback by how good, and he's someone who's played in the Klopp. So he's one miss, but I think Hakim Ziyech came back in the previous game, and hopefully he'll be a welcome addition, and he's something different to the team because of the left foot. He just pings balls, and that's something that maybe Werner can catch upon if he comes on late, right? So for this particular game, I'm very satisfied, especially with N'Golo Kante being back as well. For me, if N'Golo Kante has 100% game, any game against anyone in the world, you saw in the Champions League final, he can dominate midfield. And sorry about that again, but you just said you're the neutral, right? So I have to say that, because if he has 100% game, we are taking the game or at least drawing it. That's the bottom line.
Well said, Ankit. Well said. Look, you have a top class manager, and I think you have a top class squad. And I'm going to make this bold statement. Some of you guys may have heard me say this before, but I think Chelsea has the best squad in the Premier League right now, above Man City. The Chelsea squad is complete, and you guys are still trying to bring in more players. And why I say it's complete is in every position, if someone gets injured, I think someone else could step in and adequately fill their shoes. Maybe not the striking position to when you really look at it, because Lukaku, he's mammoth, and Werner has not really lived up to expectation, but maybe he can step up and fill Lukaku's shoes if he's injured or he is being rotated. But I have to say that the Chelsea squad, oh man, you guys have all the tools, all the weapons to compete on all four fronts this season, being the Champions League, the Premier League, the League Cup, and of course the FA Cup. Ankit, next thing we're going to talk about, I want to hear your thoughts on Liverpool FC.
Wow, as in you probably put me in the spot there, but yes, Liverpool, like I can say safely that if you're just comparing starting 11s, they are right up there. Like you mentioned, Chelsea has the best squad. Liverpool, I'm sure a lot of Liverpool fans will agree that in terms of starting 11, they have it right up there, especially with Virgil van Dijk coming back. I would have thought that Virgil van Dijk will take at least like a couple of months to settle in, get that fitness going. But the game that I saw, I know it's just 2 games again, but he's pinging those diagonal long, high passes, as in like it's his backyard. Like, this guy is actually world class. So that's something that everyone is looking forward to. But I think the midfield is something which is a little bit of a miss. It's more of a backup again that I'm talking about, because with Wijnaldum going, I don't think they've really replaced. They were hoping that Thiago would have done that. Obviously, he came in last season, but he's not lived up to the expectation. So that is the only place where I see them not having the depth. But I also saw Harvey Elliott. I think he's the youngest in the Premier League ever to play. Like he actually played well in that game. In the last game against Burnley. So, that's some cover, maybe a surprise weapon that Klopp, is having always.
Well said, Ankit. I like that you're very knowledgeable about your opponent and that you're giving them the respect that they deserve. I know we could get a little disrespectful sometimes with our opponents. Yeah, we play a little Norwich City. We might meet a Crystal Palace or Burnley, but when it comes to quality teams like a Liverpool, or you come up against a Chelsea, you come up against a Man United, a Tottenham, City learned the hard way. You got to show that respect. And I really love that you show that respect. So now that we have touched on your team, Chelsea, we have touched on Liverpool, and now we're going to talk about the game itself, because that's the main topic. The game, Liverpool versus Chelsea at Anfield. Part one. There will be the return leg at Stamford Bridge, but we're going to talk about the game played at Anfield this weekend. Last season, we had Liverpool losing at Anfield, 1-0 to Chelsea, but winning at Stamford Bridge, 2-0. The all-time Premier League results read 58 games, Liverpool with 23 wins, Chelsea with 21, and there's been 14 draws. So it's been neck to neck, really, really neck to neck. So in the last 10 games between these two teams, there has been 3 draws, 5 wins for Liverpool, and 2 for Chelsea. We're hearing that. How do you feel? How do you feel really going into this game? How confident are you from a scale of 1 to 10? How confident are you that you could actually pick up a W to continue this perfect start to the season? Or do how confident are you from a scale of 1 to 10? 10 being the most confident, 1 being the least confident.
So I am definitely confident. I have to say that, as in being a Chelsea fan, I have to be biased. But the fact is, the reality is, we are having that momentum. The Super Cup win pumped us definitely. Like that's one cup we had in the past, lost to Liverpool, if you remember. And after that, the signing of Lukaku, right? So the environment, the atmosphere is something really positive. I know, as a matter of fact, and you can see that on the pitch. So I am confident. On a scale of 1 to 10, I would say 6. Again, the reason I say
that is not too confident.
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you the reason why. I would have probably given a 7, right? But the fact that we are at Anfield, and Anfield crowd, like no one can undermine that. Like Anfield crowd on their
True.
day in a big game. Like, especially the big games is when they really turn up, and that's their 12th man, right? And I have to be wary of that, and I have to say that okay, six for definitely a win, but if you ask me, like at least a draw, I would say eight. Put
You
it that
look at. I think if I ask you how confident are you on a scale from 1 to 10 to get a win, and you say 6, I think you're feeling more a draw. If you understand what I'm saying,
absolutely.
because because we have to admit that Liverpool are a very good team. We know this. We know last season they kind of fell by the wayside a bit, and they were struggling with injuries, but now that's not the case. They have all their players, well, let's say the majority, the main players fit, even though Fabinho might be out. His dad passed away. Condolences to the Tavage family. But Liverpool, we know they're a quality team, and you can't write them off no matter what. Even when they were not at full pelt, you can't write them off, because when you have the likes of former Chelsea player Mo Salah, and there's Mane, and there's Jota Firmino, it's a difficult team to actually play against. They could come on their day and they could blow you away. And there'll be the other time when they'll lose 1-0 at home. But remember, last season there were no fans. This season there's fans, so the players are more pumped up for the occasion, and they're not gonna lie down. They're not gonna break very, very easily. And I could stay here and talk because I'm a City fan. I'm in the middle. I'm neutral. You guys are my enemies this season, because when it comes to contenders for the Premier League, I think City, Liverpool, and a fit Liverpool, Chelsea, Man United to a lesser extent. I really don't rate Man United like that under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but these are the teams that will be fighting for the title. And this game is a big game. At the end of the season, if you pick up 1 point, you drop 2 points. 2 points could be the difference between you winning the Premier League title and you coming in second. You see? So this is a huge game, man. This is a huge game. Look, Klopp versus Thomas Tuchel, two Germans, and Klopp versus Chelsea. He has 15 games. He has 7 wins, 4 draws, 4 losses. Klopp versus Tuchel, also 15 games, and Klopp has 9 wins, 3 draws, and 3 losses. One of those losses come in last season, at the back end of last season. Tuchel versus Liverpool, not such a great record. I think he has 2 wins, 1 draw, and 2 losses. And I could remember, I think he played Dortmund versus Liverpool as well. So, Ankit, I want to ask you, how do you think Tuchel would set up this Chelsea team against Liverpool? Do you think he would set up in the same way, the same business as usual, 3 at the back, 2 holding, 2 attacking, wing backs, front man Lukaku? Do you think that'll be the setup against Liverpool, and it will be Klopp who has to actually maybe tweak his system or tweak his tactics to get the better of Tuchel? What are your thoughts here?
Yeah, so as in to begin with, I think first you were asking about the draw, right? Being a Man City fan, it'll work out perfectly for you with Liverpool and Chelsea drawing. But yes, coming to basically in terms of the tactics, see, as in even the last game, Tuchel started off with a typical 3-4-2-1 formation that he's known to be doing in Chelsea. But if you see in between games, he changes formations, right? And in terms of roles, even like I think it was the first when Jorginho actually was playing the Kante role because Kante did not start. So Kante is someone who goes with high pressing, and Jorginho actually was doing that, and he's not known for that. And he was actually doing quite well with Kovacic being the passer, staying behind, which was kind of very strange. But in my view, again, I'm kind of giving things away. In my view, that was because Tuchel was trying that for the Liverpool game. Like that's what I foresee. If in case Kante is not 100%, can Jorginho do that, right? And can Kovacic pass? So I can see only one of them playing in the role that they were maybe practicing. You can say, I know it sounds a little bit, as though I'm bragging, but the fact is that it was totally new. So in terms of formation to begin with, we will start with 3-4-2-1. One another change that Tuchel might bring if we are kind of chasing the game is he gets Mason Mount to tuck in and play along with the midfield, and maybe have 2 strikers with Kai Havertz and Lukaku playing up front, which again can work great because I think Kai Havertz is a technician of the highest order, and Lukaku, as in we saw his strength already, what he brings to the table. So I think these are a couple of changes that he'll bring, but I don't see any major changes to begin with, and I think it'll be probably Klopp would overthink this because at the end of the day, I think Klopp is needing to prove to Anfield like he's at home, right? So he needs to basically think that what Chelsea will bring. And Tuchel, even in the Arsenal game, he saw what Arsenal was doing the first 10 minutes, and then he moves according to that. So I think that's how it will go this game as well.
Well said, Ankit. And we're here on the form guide. You see, Liverpool have been in form. They're one of the most informed teams coming from the back end of last season into this season. Chelsea, a few losses in between there. And we know Liverpool has the better recent record. Klopp has a better record over Tuchel. He has a good record against Chelsea. But this is not to discount Thomas Tuchel's brilliant record since he took charge of Chelsea. 33 games, 23 wins, 6 draws, 5 losses, 21 clean sheets. This team is hard to score against. This is a very, very difficult team to break down. Look, you mentioned the 11. You mentioned changes that could be made and everything. I think we may actually see N'Golo Kante coming into this 11. Kovacic might have to drop out. I think Kovacic may drop out. He might need Jorginho to spread the passes, and N'Golo Kante would do the hard work. And there's also another tricky position, which is that third center back and the right back option. Is he gonna go in with Reece James as the wing back and Azpilicueta as the third center back, or could we see Azpilicueta start at the right, Thiago Silva come in as one of those center backs alongside Christensen and Rudiger? Could we see something like that? There could be changes made in the game. Could we see Chilwell come in ahead of Alonso? I doubt that would be a change. But there's also up top. I know Lukaku will start, Mason Mount will start, but then it's very tricky. It's very tricky. There's Ziyech, there's a lot of options. There's Callum Hudson Odoi, maybe could be deployed as a right wing back, and it's tricky to actually predict what Thomas Tuchel will do. But if in terms of predictability, I think the Chelsea 11 will be a little bit more predictable than the Liverpool one, because with Klopp at the start of the season, he has been switching up his midfield. Both games, he has switched up his midfield. Andy Robertson could come back into the fold because he has been injured. And you could see Robertson, Trent, Van Dijk, Matip, Alisson, very strong team. Jordan Henderson, he's been struggling with a bit of injury. He could come back into the team. Well, he started the last game. Well, he would be there. Naby Keita. Are we going to see James Milner? Harvey Elliott, would he play this game from the start, or would the more experienced Thiago come in? Salah, Mane, Jota up top, or would we see Firmino? So there's a lot of things that could. It's a very mouth-watering prospect, mouth-watering affair, I should say, and it's very hard to predict this game. As a matter of fact, it's very, very difficult. I don't know if you came up with a prediction for this game yet. Do you have a prediction for this one yet?
In terms of the score?
Look, I know you're a Chelsea fan. I know you mentioned that Chelsea bias, but I want you to be objective here, as objective as possible. Because when I give my prediction on Man City, I don't use my Man City bias. If I think we're gonna lose or draw, I say we're gonna lose or draw. But to be honest, this one is very hard to call because Liverpool have been in form. Chelsea have been informed. They're Champions League winners and all, Super Cup winners, even though it was on penalties and all. This will be the first test for both teams. First real test as well. Who's going to pass the test, or would both teams cancel each other out? I want to hear your prediction before we end off today's segment.
Absolutely. Like you said, right, definitely in terms of wearing the thinking hat on, I see a score draw because I'll tell you why. As in, it could be a 1-1. I think 1-1 is probably more realistic because we don't let in many goals. But you hit the nail on the head because the 11 that Chelsea is going to play with or start with, right, that will be crucial. With the Anfield crowd again, them actually going for the kill, that's what they would want to do. Alonso playing at left wing back is a slight question mark for me. I think he's been absolutely fantastic, probably one of our top players in the first 2 games. but we all know he doesn't have the pace, he doesn't have the legs, right? So I can see, and it's difficult to drop him, as in because Chilwell hasn't played a minute in Premier League yet, so he can probably make that mistake that we all want to avoid as Chelsea fans. That is, but uh, Chelsea on the other hand, because again Robertson might be back, and he's again one person who's not really had many games. I can see us opening, and like you asked me on the right hand side, I definitely see Reece James playing, and trust me, like Reece James, the kind of crossing ability he has, he just needed that confidence. And once he has that confidence, he's second to none in terms of crossing. And with Lukaku there, I can see even Havertz, right? Both of them have that height, aerial ability. They can definitely get one goal in, and that's the way I see the game going. And definitely in terms of our midfield, we have the midfield to keep the ball after that. I think an away draw at Anfield with the season beginning. I think we had I think a loss last season as well, and I think it was at Stamford Bridge.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
early, so I don't want that repeat to happen. So I think I'll take that, a draw, a score draw.
I think a draw is kind of a result I'm leaning towards as well, because you predict Liverpool to lose, they come and win. It's a statement win. It's a statement win. Chelsea win is a statement win as well. It's psychological edge going into the rest of the season. This one, it might be both teams canceling each other out. I'm not making a prediction. This is all about my guest, Ankit. He's a Chelsea fan. I will let you guys know my definitive prediction on Thursday during my live stream. But this one is a game to look forward to, man. One battle that I'm looking forward to is that Lukaku versus Van Dijk battle. I saw Lukaku manhandle the Arsenal defenders. Pablo Mari, Rob Holding, they got pushed aside. Could he put... look, Joel Matip, I think, could be a little flighty sometimes. But for Van Dijk, that battle is going to be an interesting one. Oh man, and I know a lot of people are going to say Van Dijk took care of Lukaku in the past. This is a different Lukaku, guys. This is a different Lukaku. This is a Van Dijk who might be a little timid, would have that injury in the back of his head. I'm not saying he's timid. He's done well in the first two games, but he's going to have that injury in the back of his mind, and he don't want to go in too hard, and next thing he hurt his knee again. So you got to be mindful of how he approached this match. And it's a big game very early in the season. Both teams are going to go hard, but they have to be very, very cautious to how they approach this game. Or it could be a game that has a big influence on the rest of the season. And if there's an injury, of course, the ramifications could be very, very, very great. So look, one question I have for you before we end today's talk is, which Liverpool players would you take at Chelsea? And I give a maximum of 5, because I know there's quality in the Liverpool team. And when I was trying to analyze that question, a lot of them could actually make the Chelsea 11. But I want you to give me, just for fun question, 5 players from Liverpool you would take at Chelsea right now. Go.
Wow, 5 players. As in, do we need so many? But yeah, just no pun intended there. But I definitely get that, because yes, Liverpool have a lot of people. For me, I think one area that we still may lack is a backup central defensive midfielder. So I would take Henderson in a nutshell, like, because he brings a lot of captaincy material as well, along with the defensive ability. That's one person. I know Naby Keita has done well against us, but it's Henderson for me. And of course, the wing back, right? As in, I know Robertson plays a full back for Liverpool, but I think we all know that he is more of a winger, really. So I think I would take Robertson. I know Chilwell, great performer, won the Champions League, but I would actually take Robertson given a chance. And yeah, a lot of people might think I might go for Trent as well, but I am in that space where I believe that I think Reece James has a better ability in terms of defense and attack, going forward. So I would not go for that. I think third person, as much as I hate saying it, it's Mohamed Salah. I think Mo Salah definitely coming back again to Chelsea. I know it's not going to happen, but he was definitely very raw when he was at Chelsea, and not got enough chances. But I think goals, anyone would take that, right? As in, these are right off the bat 3 people that I will surely take. But I think other people are probably youngsters, because Chelsea, as in, we are definitely building a lot of young kind of team. So I think Harvey Elliott looks very promising
So
for me.
wait,
Curtis
you
Jones.
you gonna leave Van Dijk on the table if you can take Van Dijk?
See, that's the thing, right? And then I
Mm,
am again in that school of thought that
mm.
today, if you ask me, like for me, Thiago Silva is right up there, right?
No,
For
look,
me,
forget about what you have already. Just imagine that you're playing career mode and you want the best team. You playing FIFA, sign who you want to sign. You take Van Dijk in a heartbeat.
yeah. Then now that you're saying
Mm.
that, obviously I'll take Van Dijk, right?
Yeah.
He's number one on the team sheet in Liverpool, and I think Alisson, like, but
Okay.
Mendy and Thiago Silva have had fantastic, seasons. So I
Yeah.
would not really undermine that because if you take Van Dijk, he plays right in the middle.
Yeah.
Right now, I would prefer Thiago Silva
Mm.
over Van Dijk because of again the fact that he's already there, proven at Chelsea. Van Dijk is
Yeah.
coming back from injury, but I definitely, if no Thiago Silva, I would take Van Dijk, and if no Mendy, I would take Alisson.
Thank you very much. It's your is my question, but your answer, so I have to respect your answer. I can't force you to put things into your answer. You know what I'm saying? But for me, Van Dijk in a heartbeat, man. Of course. He was supposed to come to City, but he chose Liverpool. I think he made a good choice as well. So look, Ankit, man, it's been a great chat. The first time we're linking up. Guys, don't forget to go and check out Ankit's channel. There'll be a link in the description down below. This Chelsea versus Liverpool game is going to be a huge one, man. I'm looking forward to watching this. I will come back and do my review, and I'm pretty sure Ankit will do a review with his panel over on his channel. But I just want to hear different perspective, more and more than ever before this season. And that's one reason why I just had to have you on as a Chelsea fan to just hear what you got to say, because people are hearing from a City fan. I have Liverpool fans coming on the channel, but from a Chelsea fan standpoint, oh man, that is very, very valuable these days, seeing that you guys are European champions and one of the favorites to win the Premier League this season. Ankit, any last thoughts before you go?
And then I'm buzzing for the game, but yes, thanks for having me, Dominic. It's a pleasure, and of course, you're always invited and welcome to my channel. And anyone who wants to kind of come on, I am building a channel for the fans by the fans, and I am definitely opening up lines and a lot of content that you'll see. But yes, it is European champions. Hopefully, going to become Premier League champions. But I don't want to jinx it either. So just being safe there.
Well said, well said. So guys, from Ankit and your boy Dominic Rich, thanks for watching. Subscribe to both channels. Leave a like on the video. Let me know your thoughts down below. Leave a prediction or any points that you think we could have touched on. And until next time, peace out. Rich Squad. Peace. I should say namaste.